Hello and welcome back to the Journey Unfolds. Another week has arrived and I can hardly believe it. I've been officially doing this for about a month and I knew going into this that I would likely run into all kinds of interesting detours slash self-sabotage slash self-doubt. Does that sound familiar to you? So here's the thing. Today's message, if you will, is really about how the next step is all you need. The next step is enough. And I'm referring specifically to Psalm 119, 105, a lamp upon my feet, so I could see the next step. So to give you some context here, on May 26th, I said yes, and I signed up for what I've referred to before, which is the Digital Growth Community, also known as the Legacy Builders Program. And it has been fascinating learning, really trying to get into the groove of what I need to do and to get into a routine that will support that endeavor and also my own business. And like any transition in life, it's not the easiest thing to do. I also want to mention this week has been foggy. Not because God disappeared and not because the path disappeared, although it appears that way. It's because my perspective got cloudy. I literally was picturing this in my mind earlier this week about how it feels like I know the path is there. I know it's there, but you know when it gets so foggy you could barely see right in front of you? And I know for a fact that the reason it feels this way is, and I'm just going to be frank, the hormone situation that I find myself in and some other health challenges that I'm trying to navigate through. But my perspective got really cloudy. Health, hormones, emotions, self-doubt, fear. It's fascinating how we could be so clear about something on a spiritual level. You know that path is there, and yet life. And I found myself going, wait, am I even going the right way? And I really feel like it's important to share that with you in this channel because I want you to understand that this is not the Katie show. We're not here to talk about everything that has to do with me. Really, what I want to be able to do is share my story to inspire you and move you and be a witness to how God can work in your life. Because here's the thing. As much as the path has felt really foggy, what I could see in my mind's eye is I could see the silhouette of Jesus himself in front of me, but it's just the silhouette. But what is super clear coming through the fog is his hand. And what I can rely on with absolute certainty is by grabbing onto that hand, I can confidently walk forward, knowing that I don't need to see the whole picture. I don't need to know where this path is going. Sometimes I would really like to know, please. Other times I realize that's part of life. None of us truly knows what tomorrow is going to bring. None of us, no matter how predictable your life might be. And what I realize is that the fog that I feel, the fog that is in my way that's obstructing my view, it's the fog that's the challenge, not the path itself. The path never changed based on the conditions of my emotions. It's just what I'm walking through right now, and it's temporary. As I've been going through this experience, I really got thinking a lot about how life can be like that sometimes. And you can see that the wind is blowing in here. It's a beautiful breeze coming through. I'm just allowing it to bless me today as I share today's message with you. But what's interesting is when life gets hard, when things feel challenging, regardless of whether that's hormones in my case, lack of sleep, also in my case, old stories, old painful stories tend to get louder, right? And I found myself, and this has just been something that I notice on repeat. So please know that I share this with you because I hope that you can relate. And I hope that by my sharing my story and my experiences with you, you understand and can see that you're not alone. That as a human being, and as we all are, we have to walk through some very trying times. But when life gets hard, things feel hard. So I know for me, when it comes to this new endeavor that I'm doing, but also even my own business for the last 15 years, constantly I have encountered this old voice saying, am I doing the right thing? Should I just quit? am I actually enough? Can I really do this? Did I actually miss the boat? Did it actually sail past me a while ago? We all have some version of these types of questions. But here's the thing, and this is what's really important. I think that's why I felt compelled and spiritually led to develop the Journey Unfolds as a channel. It's because circumstances can change, our emotions change, sometimes from moment to moment, but God does not. And our calling, the thing that we're put here to do, our circumstances can be unfolding constantly, but that calling is always just a core truth. And really, what we're trying to do in this messy human existence is unpack that. And that can feel very foggy. So, when I talk about walking through this fog, it's really not being able to see the path ahead. And that's really been my journey for the last year and a half, honestly. It's just thinking that I know where I'm going and then realizing, oh, just kidding. That path actually went that way. But ultimately, when it comes to where I am right now, I know there's a tendency and a fear of, oh, what if I completely flop at this thing? What if I am building this channel and I'm going to make a complete fool of myself and show everyone that, just kidding, God doesn't actually deliver. But that's not God speaking. Let me be abundantly clear about that. Just because I can't see the path ahead and just because I can't see the destination does not mean that it's not there. It just means that my current reality and my circumstances are clouding my vision. And I want you to know that for you too, because perhaps you're going through something. It could be you can't see ahead. You know that there's a new job opportunity waiting for you and you're not sure where to look for it. Maybe a new relationship that you're trying to navigate and you're just not sure if it's going to go the way you want it to go. Maybe it's working through something with your teenager and it's just proving to be incredibly difficult. Here's what I want you to know, and this is coming back to Psalm 119, 105. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And here's what it doesn't say. A lamp is not a floodlight. It's not like in a football stadium where the whole thing lights up. No, we only get to see that little bit in front of us. And isn't that kind of the whole point? Isn't that the beauty of developing faith and really understanding what surrender and obedience looks like? A lamp doesn't show you the entire journey. It simply shows the next step. But here's the thing, I want a floodlight. And God keeps giving me a lamp. And I'm like, no, like for real, this time, please. But the lesson here is faith isn't knowing the whole plan. From where I'm sitting right now, and it is currently June 16th, 2026, I don't know where this is going. I don't. I had a recent realization where I've been given this beautiful gift of faith. And most people, certainly that I've talked to or that have shared with me, would say, I could never do that. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is, as an entrepreneur, I don't do it because it's a cool thing to do. I do it because it's a calling. And I have been, over the years, constantly confronted with uncertainty, especially financially. And it's almost like, even though I don't understand it yet, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, come on, God, really, anytime now, we can do that whole, plans to prosper you thing. Would that be great? Anytime. Now, let me just be clear. God always does provide, of course, and the means by which we've needed to get by have been provided for us, and I am eternally grateful. But faith is about taking that next step, even though history has said other things, even though history has told you a different story. The truth is, faith requires you to move. And it's about obedience over opinion. It's about obedience over feelings and hormones. And it's about obedience over certainty. So, regardless of what you're going through in your life currently, I just invite you to let go and trust. Because here's the thing, no matter what you're doing or what you're faced with, as a human being on planet Earth, you do not have the luxury of seeing the full picture. None of us do. We can pretend we do. We can pretend that we have more control than we do. We can pretend that everything is going according to our agenda. And the reality is that Life is fragile and it's incredibly unpredictable, and we don't know what is coming. And we can pray that it's good things, obviously, and we can trust that as long as we are showing up and we are doing what we've been called from the inside to do, the rest will take care of itself. I think a lot about the story of the vineyard. I think about the fact that I can only produce the abundance of fruit that I'm meant to produce if I'm connected to the vine. As a branch, if I'm not connected to the vine, which in this case is Christ, then I am absolutely incapable of generating an abundance of fruit. And so, what I want you to understand and what I want you to know is that this journey that you're walking with me on is really about that. It's really rooting myself and my mission and my goals. Everything is rooted in my creator's command, my creator's calling on my life. And the truth is when we do this, when we can root ourselves, when we can abide, when we can be deeply connected to the vine, imagine being able to allow yourself to flourish as the person that you actually are, as opposed to who you might think you are, or your ego tells you are, or your painful background tells you are. But actually, the beauty of this journey is it's about becoming who you really are without the world telling you who you should be. And that's been a big part of it for me is stepping into who am I really? Who am I being called to be in the world? And when it comes to my current right here, right now moment of feeling hormonally out of whack, feeling emotionally vulnerable, getting by on very little sleep, it's very easy for me to just be like, you know what? I don't need to do a video. I don't need to talk about it. I don't even need to show up today. I can just check out. But the problem is, it's not a journey then. Because we can't think of a journey as just walking along the path and it's all roses and sunshine and rainbows and unicorns, because it's not a journey. That's a cakewalk. A journey is really the unfolding of who we actually are and what we're meant to be doing in our lives. So here's what I want to say. It's possible that you're going through a foggy season too. And maybe you can't see a few days, a few months ahead. Maybe you could barely even see tomorrow. However, what if that's perfectly okay? What if that's something to celebrate? Because I go back to being a kid, and if we knew exactly what we were getting for Christmas under the tree, do you think that the magic might have disappeared? I think it would have. In fact, to this day, I don't want to know. I have a husband and a daughter who can't stand surprises. They're like, no, tell me now. I'm like, no, don't tell me now. Keep the surprise element. There's something really beautiful about watching it unfold as it should. And I think that's how the journey is meant to be. Every day we're going to learn something new. There's going to be days where we're like, yeah, I didn't want this. Thanks. This was not what I wanted on my agenda. And again, talk about building strength, resiliency, and commitment. And in my case, obedience. Because showing up today and being honest and being transparent and being vulnerable requires me to be someone that maybe if I had my way, I wouldn't be. I know I cannot shine my light. I cannot do the job that I've been called to do if I just go and hide, take a nap, pretend that I don't need to be here, when in fact, it's too important. It's too important in the world that we're living in now for me to stay silent. And it's super important in light of what people are going through and the pain and the uncertainty. I get to show up. I get to show up. So, if you can still see his hand, maybe that's enough. Maybe just taking that next step is enough. Maybe God never intended to show us the whole path, just enough light for us to step into today's obedience. So I want to leave you with a question today. I want to know what area of your life, and feel free to share. For me, it's my business, both sides of it. The digital growth community, the collaboration work I do. Where am I even going with those things? And today, in this moment in time, it doesn't feel clear to me. It feels almost, ugh, why don't I just scrap it all and start over? But I also know I've been here 152 bajillion times. Yes, that's a real number. Didn't you know? So, what area of your life feels foggy right now? And where do you think God is asking you to lean in and trust Him anyway? Where can you let go? Truly let go. Let go of the fear, let go of the anxiety, let go of the need to know. Because here's the thing, as long as you hold all of that, you're burdening yourself in a way that's not fair to you. What would it be like to release it, to lay it all down and just surrender and just take that next small step? So, to wrap it all up, when the fog rolls in and I just cannot see the path, God reminds me that I don't need to. I don't need to see the whole thing. I just need enough light for that next small step. And of course, I need the hand of Jesus to pull me along. And I hope that this comforts you and blesses you today. We'll see you next week. Be sure to subscribe on The Journey Unfolds and come on back as I continue to navigate and figure out what am I even doing? Because I promise there is a real reason and a real purpose behind all of it.